All right, Gene, are you ready to
I'm
be
ready
counted
this
in?
time. I promise. I'm here. I'm present.
Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Where my mom's at? Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting bongs at? Raising kids, cleaning shits, need a long nap. Where my mom's at?
Where My Mom's At podcast with Christina P.
Hello. Welcome to Where My Mom's At. Listen, I need to plug something at the top. I kind of plugged it at the last. I just want to get it in there. September 12th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be doing the wind down with Flappers Comedy Club. Basically, it's me getting ripped, and I'm going to Zoom with fucking people. I thought, what a fun idea, just to get drunk and just talk to people. It's not really something I'm going to profit from. It's to help Flappers Comedy Club. They're good friends of mine. Dave Reinitz and Barbara Holiday I've known for a million years. I'm just trying to help this comedy club out. So it's either on my website. If you don't see it there, go to Flappers Comedy Club, buy tickets to the wind down. We're going to get ripped. Discover the new Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires designed to keep families safer for longer than leading competitors. The Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires provide up to 1 year of additional tread life compared to 4 leading competitive tires. Discover more at michelinman.com. Now, very exciting. With me is Kati Morton.
Yay! It's so good to be back. I haven't seen people in so long.
You've been diehard coring.
Yeah, we have. We're deep
Tell
in
me
the
about
core. Well, first of all, we work from home anyway.
Yeah.
Super easy to isolate. But most of my friends have little children, so they're scared to see people. And yeah, so we've done lots of Zooms until I hate Zoom.
I hate Zoom.
I fucking hate Zoom.
Yeah.
And so now I get to see you again.
Yay! Yeah, I feel like people are starting to relax and be like, you know what, I'm taking precautions as best as I can, and I gotta live my life, bro. It's
well, how
so
long?
fucking depressing.
Right? For how long? It still feels like it's March and it's fucking September.
Well, that's what we were talking about before we rolled, is that my sense of time is so skewed because everyone's like, oh, the children, they grow up so fast. And I'm like, what are you feeding yours? Because mine are, every day feels like an eternity.
Right.
And then you blink and you're like, oh, it's Thursday again, or it's Friday again. And it feels long and short at the same time.
It does. It's really weird. It's a weird sensation. That long short is exactly what it's like. Because I'm like, oh my God, this week is lasting forever. And I'm like, wow, it's already been 2 weeks since I felt that way or something. You're like,
no,
what happened?
It's so bizarro.
Yeah.
And also people are migrating and moving and I wonder what the country's going to look like when people are realizing I don't have to live in this place to do business.
Yeah, and
I can live
spend
anywhere.
extra, right? Rent is fucking expensive in Manhattan.
Yeah.
People are like, I'm out.
Yeah. It's a lot going on. But first of all, big news. I went to the LA Zoo yesterday.
I know. I've never been.
Normally,
Do share.
It's so depressing. Normally, I'm not going to lie. It's a horrible experience, but they severely limit how many people can go in at a time.
Okay.
So it's like your own private zoo.
That's amazing.
And the animals look great because they haven't been gawked at for months.
Poked at?
Yeah.
Knocked on the window,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, come here, zebra. So the animals look really healthy right now.
Wow, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, had a churro. It was big news, big time.
Awesome.
Now, in mom world, I saw this bitch. I don't know if you've ever seen someone do this. I never saw this before. A mom, she had on her stroller a fan attached to
I've seen that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it at Disneyland and stuff.
I mean, that's some varsity mom business.
It is. It's legit. She's out a lot with that.
Bruh. I'm like, you're really smart. I almost commented on it. I'm like, look at your fan, bitch, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Very cool. Also, what did I want to talk to you about? Let's do some follow-ups before we get into all the questions that you guys have submitted for Kati. Thank you for doing that. Overwhelming response. And you have a podcast where you answer people's questions every week now.
Yes. About 10 to 15 questions, depending on how long. And I ramble a lot and give them lots of thoughts.
So it's Ask Kati Anything.
Exactly.
Is your new podcast. And so you guys, you can reach out to her. How can they reach out to you? What's the best way?
So I will, on Mondays, I post on the community tab of my YouTube channel.
Community tab of your YouTube channel.
I know.
What does that mean?
So the YouTube channel, just on YouTube, search for Opinions That Don't Matter, because that's the podcast I do with my husband.
Okay.
And kind of like you, like YMH, right?
Yeah.
Everything's on the, other than your podcast is separate. But so on the Opinions That Don't Matter. Whoop whoop.
There's you and your husband.
That's us. His
Or
cat's
Sean.
tail fell off. It's a true story.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How?
So
Oh my
we
God.
had the facts a little wrong. His sister was like, "How dare you?" But he thought she ran into her bedroom and slammed the door, and the cat was trying to get through, and it hit the tail. And then about 2 weeks later, they're petting the cat, and the tail fell off. I know.
I didn't
was
know
like,
that could happen.
Me neither.
I thought just lizards.
Right? Because they get scared and they're like, pew, drop
Wow.
it. No, this cat just like lizarded. It just lost its tail.
It's okay though?
It was totally fine.
It's so
I
weird.
know. I was like, why do they have tails then? What is this?
Well, it's good that you can live without it. I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
Yeah, so they can. So anyway, so
you
on
go there.
that channel,
Okay.
you go on the community tab, like it's a little tab along the side where it says
I
like
see.
about discussion. And in there I say, hey, on Mondays, time to send in your questions. See, happy Monday.
Okay.
Time to send in your questions.
And how do they send them in?
Then they leave a comment. Just
Oh,
comment
so it's
back.
their comments on her community tab on opinions that don't matter. You need an email.
I know. Well, we
Just have an email.
I mean, I could set one up, I guess.
Yeah. Just like where my mom's at.
Yeah.
Do a fucking email, people.
Okay. Well, I'll set up an email.
We'll do it.
Stay
Okay.
tuned.
So anyway, you can ask Katie anything. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. So what
Correct.
does that mean? Explain to people what kind of credential that is.
So it means you go 4-year degree, then you go on to get your master's in clinical psychology. Wow. But instead of doing social, so there's a lot of avenues you can do once you're like, I want to be a clinical psychologist or whatever. That would mean, the certain levels of schooling you go to, whether I want to work on environment, which is a social worker, making sure like, you have all your needs met and you're able to pay your rent and you have transportation, all this stuff. They work, in that, and like CPS, Child Protective Services.
Oh my gosh.
stuff like
These
that.
are hard gigs you're saying.
I know.
This is breaking my heart already.
I have tons of friends that do it, so I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then I'm what you call a therapist. Like people use the therapist term because I work on relationships mostly. So it's like relationship with yourself, relationship with others, how you interact in the world. Whereas the other's like environment. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the difference.
So you help people deal with the world and
Yeah.
in their relationships and
Exactly.
marriages and their family structures and stuff.
and how
Okay.
that affects you now.
I love
all
that
that
stuff. I mean, I could talk
Yeah.
about this stuff
Oh,
all
it's
day.
so fascinating. I know.
Humans are so fascinating.
They are. That's actually the reason that I love my job so much, is because I used to get bored. I'm sure like everybody, like I get so fucking bored with a job. Like I'd start a job
know.
and then I'd be like, okay, well now I understand this and know how to do it, and it's stupid and I'm
And
bored.
repetitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this form again.
Or then you're in an office with people and it's like TGIF.
I
And then
know.
they're like, it's hump day. And you're like, shut the fuck
Yeah, I'm like,
up.
just stop already.
Stop.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
I
You're like,
know.
I'm gonna punch
I'm gonna
you.
blow my brains out. Stacy's got a birthday, and like that was the big thing is someone's birthday cake,
Yeah.
and then everyone
But
has to
I
eat
didn't
cake.
get any
Like, oh,
cake
fuck off.
last
Oh
time.
yeah, probably the most accurate movie is
It
Office
is.
Space. The guy's a genius, Mike
so
Judge.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Comedic
That and
genius.
Idiocracy.
Yes.
So I met Mike
100%.
Judge a little while ago, not long ago, and the first words, I'm such a fan dork, and I was like, Idiocracy is like the best movie ever made.
You can't help it.
I just blurted
it
out.
affected you.
It did. I've still this day. I'm like, this is really brilliant. And he's like, thanks. I wasn't sure. And then he starts walking upstairs, and I'm like, oh, I guess I follow Mike Judge up these stairs. And he's like rambling on, I don't think people really like that movie, but then because he's such like an introvert. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but I like you.
But
Mike
I'm
Judge.
excited. I'm gonna follow you.
I'm just so stoked that I got to tell you that I like your stuff, bro. Okay, so most importantly, we have some follow-ups from
Yes.
the last episode. This person writes, this is, not your typical Karen from Colorado. How bummed are you to be a Karen right now?
I have one of my viewers, a viewer I've known for years. Her name's Karen. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
She's suffering.
Oh yeah, she's like, can they just pick a different name?
Well, they have. Do you know the next one?
Stacy, maybe?
Christine.
How dare they?
I know.
What?
The name people call me, I'm a Christina, but I get called Christine.
Oh no.
I know, my alter ego. So I look forward to all the Christine memes now. Okay, listening to your conversation about showering with your significant other made me wonder, what gross things does my husband do but the shower? I think husband do, but I don't know. Sadly, I came to, do except the shower, meaning, yeah. I came to realize that I am the nasty one in the shower. When the water gets nice and steamy, the best is mid-conversation while he is talking so he can really savor it. I will fart and hotbox the both of us.
Ew.
Not all mommies are victims. Some of us are the psycho Tommy Buns in the relationship. Keep them high and tight. Very good, Karen. Excellent
Hey,
work.
you got to do what you got to do.
Now, do you do that with Sean?
We have showered together, obviously, but
Yeah.
our shower is pretty small, and he's
Yeah.
always like, one of us is cold while the
All
other
the
one,
time.
and he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And
Sucks.
I totally understand. So when we buy a house, maybe there'll be 2 shower heads.
There
I don't
should
know. We'll
be.
get fucking fancy and shit.
You should. Oh, I like this.
You know?
Okay, Katie. My husband, do you pee on him or does he pee on you ever?
No.
Yeah, my husband pees on me and he'll make eye contact and then just do it and not warn me. And then I'll feel like a
The
worm.
warm. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you pee in your shower?
yeah.
Good for you.
I mean,
do you pee when Sean's in the shower with you?
No.
Wow. Restraint.
I mean, you know,
You guys are newlyweds.
like 7 years, 8 years.
Do you pee in a public pool?
No.
Wow. You are a good person, Katie Morton.
I try. Although my mom, maybe it was my dad, it sounds like something more than my dad would say, said, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, that if you peed in a pool, that there was like a dye.
Yes.
It would follow
We
you
heard
around.
that
Yeah.
myth and it's just not true.
Well, of course, but it scares children. So like I'd be like,
You believe the myth.
I believed it. Like,
Just so you know, guys, I peed in so many pools. It's not true.
I'll pee in the ocean, which I almost feel worse about, I guess.
but
if I
it's
think
made
about
of
it.
it's made of animal pee.
Yeah,
It's all
right.
other
That's what it
animals
is. That's how
peeing.
it's created.
Yeah. You're part of the ecosystem. You're fine. I feel like the chlorine kills the pee.
I'm sure it does.
Okay. Hey, Mom. Oh, we did. Do you have a dog?
No.
You're not a dog mom? Okay, we did a dog mom episode with Angela Johnson.
saw.
Yeah, she was so happy. She says, I wanted to pass along a dog mom hack for all my big breed or high energy breed dog moms out there. I have an 8-year-old Belgian Malinois
what that
named
is.
Duke. I don't know, but I like it. He's an extremely high energy dog who needs a lot of exercise even in his older age. About 2 years ago, my husband and I discovered doggy daycare. Never before would I think that I would be so domesticated or suburbanized that I would take my dog to daycare weekly, but it has truly become a blessing in the skies. Thank
Look
you
how
for using
cute with their big ears.
Oh, that's a cute dog.
It's almost like an Australian Shepherd, but not.
Well, shepherds, those need a lot of exercise.
Huskies. We have a friend that has a husky, and you could just run and run and run.
Forget about it, man.
Yeah,
You got to
right?
be really cognizant of these things when you get a dog. How much energy does a dog have?
I know.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. That's actually kind of part of the reason why I grew up with pit bulls.
Oy.
And they were like, honestly, I think it's more about the owner, because ours was a fucking fraidy cat. He'd like let out a boom, and then he'd be like, "Where we go, Katie? What are we doing about this? Because let's go inside."
Oh, cute.
So I think we'll probably end up, because when we buy a house soon.
Yes.
I want to get 2 dogs so they can like have a buddy.
You know, I'm kind of itching for a second again.
Yeah, you should. Well, you have 2 kids.
Too
That's
much
a
work.
lot. Yeah, you're up early.
Crazy animal. I'm up at 6.
Yeah,
with these
whenever you text me
maniacs.
back at 6:30, I'm like, she's out of control.
Well, that I know it's funny because all my mom friends, I mean, I'll text them mom friend at 6 a.m.
Oh,
and
and
like,
they're
"What's
like-
up, dude?"
Yeah, and they're like, hey,
My
I'm on my
people-
3rd cup of coffee. How you doing?
But then if you text me at night, forget about it.
Oh, yeah,
Past
yeah.
9 p.m., I'm not going to answer.
I know. That's
So
okay. That's
here's
fair.
a second less fun hack. Pet insurance. That's right. We have saved thousands on vet bills because we have pet insurance. That is so true. Yeah,
I've heard of them.
You can get 2 types. There's preventative, meaning the maintenance of the dog, they'll pay for the majority of, or if there's a disaster, the dog gets hit by a car, needs a big
Yeah.
surgery, then you pay for that kind. So that is good to know.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Thank you for doing a dog mom episode. You guys loved that. My husband and I don't want children, but we love our 3 dogs and 2 horses like our children. That sounds like
Oh,
fun.
I love horses.
I know.
That's me though.
You're a
Sean.
horse girl?
I
Horse
grew
girls
up-
are crazy. You know that, right?
Oh, I didn't know, but now I do.
Think
Time
that's
to live large.
That's what they say. Horse girls are crazy. When's the last time you rode a horse?
Oh God, I was probably like 16. It was back home. I grew up in
Yeah.
the country, so I mean,
that's
a lot of people had
right.
horses, and I
Where'd you
wanted a
grow up?
horse. In Washington State. Wow. But like not Seattle, like not even close. Not even.
You were way out there, so you could
Yeah.
do horsey stuff.
Yeah, well, one of my babysitters just lived down the street. I mean, down the street's like 7 acres away or whatever. She had horses, and so she taught me, to brushing them and feeding them carrots. And even one of my friends, tons of friends, did the Farmers Association when you're a kid, like you show your cows and your horses. It's FA. It's like Farmers Association of America, FA. Anyway, so tons of people did that stuff, and baby cows are so cute.
Oh my god!
You can feed them the bottle. Oh,
I've never done that. You know, growing up in the concrete jungle that is LA,
Yeah,
I've
totally
never
different.
even seen it. I didn't see it snow until I was like 35 when I
my
was doing the road.
you're like, what is this?
I've never camped a day in my life.
What?
I've never fed a baby cow.
Oh.
No,
I mean,
that's cool.
you could feed a baby cow, but you maybe don't need to camp anymore. I feel like,
No.
I mean, glamping is fine, but as we get older, like my neck will hurt, my back will
Yeah,
like,
I can't do that shit, dude.
I need a good night's sleep.
Yeah, me
so,
sleeping
like,
on the couch is like enough.
yeah, it's
when
rough,
Tom
right?
snores.
That's camping.
Okay, so this person does want kids. We get scoffed at by actual parents for saying we're pet parents. I mean, I get it. A dog or a horse is much easier than a human baby, but we love them like children and spoil them like children. I loved when you discussed losing a pet. I read an article that many people grieve harder for the loss of an animal because animals are the only creatures who truly love us unconditionally. When I lost my horse in 2018, it was devastating. I had a very deep connection with him. I still feel his presence. I know he's watching over me. Yeah, see? Crazy animal mom, huh? So thank you for recognizing the demographic on your show and talking about the highs and lows of pet ownership. I'm a huge fan of the pod, even though I don't want kids. Thank you. You're hilarious, Kylie. Well, thank you, Kylie. Do you have dog love? Do you have cat love?
Yeah. I have dogs mainly. I mean,
Yeah.
I like cats too, but
Yeah.
cats are more like, you know, you're fine to be around. But dogs are like, we can't get enough of you, you know?
Huge divide in the animal world between cat people and dog people.
It is. But I love all animals.
I
I
do
grew
too.
up with guinea pigs, cats, and dogs always. So
Yeah, they're great.
they're all great. But yeah, it is hard losing a pet.
It is. I was saying on this show that I grieved the loss of my dog FIFO more than my mother in some.
Oh, I mean, you know, makes sense. I totally.
I mean, I grieved my mother, but I think
different.
It's different because I really loved that dog. My
Well,
mother
yeah.
was complicated, but
Yeah.
FIFO was pure.
That's the
She
thing.
was
It's a pure love, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah. Corny was my dog growing up.
Coin.
And when he lived to be 13.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. And he was a pit bull.
Oh,
And he started cataracts. I think he had doggy dementia. He'd get confused, start pooping in the house. And we were
Yeah.
like, what's happening? And then my mom was like, it's not good for him. You know, we have to put him down. And so my dad took him through the drive-through at Jack in the Box and got him a burger and then took him in.
and just shot him.
No,
On
we
the
took him
farm?
into the...
I don't know.
I don't think my dad could. My dad grew up that way though.
You're all that rural shit.
No,
I
that's
don't
how my dad grew up, but I don't
freaking
think he
know.
could have done it. That
I
like,
could not
My
do
dad was
it.
too emotional. He'd have like not.
I would die before I could
Oh,
kill my animal.
There's no way. Mm-mm.
So sad.
No way. So yeah. It's hard.
So at any rate, I wanted to bring this up before we get into your questions. Is that what I really enjoy about you, because I've been a huge fan of you on the tube. You're now writing a second book, right?
Yeah,
Am I allowed
I'm
to
almost
talk
finished,
about this,
actually.
or I don't know.
Yeah,
if I'm
you can
allowed.
talk about it. Mhm.
Your first book title?
Are You
I'm brain
Okay?
fried. Are You Okay? I love this book. I found this book when I was on a flight one time when I was not okay. And it's just, it was such a good, easy, quick read and helpful read. I really like how you communicate, because a lot of therapists can be very like too heady, and I just hate that way of talking to people. And I feel
Yeah.
like you really make things understandable and digestible, and you're so relatable. And what I really enjoy about you is your modeling. And I don't know if you do this intentionally, but I love how you tell people that you have feelings, and you're like, I'm having these feelings today, or I'm feeling this way, because I think, at least the big reason why I was in therapy is I had a hard time dealing with emotions and allowing them to
Everybody
come.
does.
Right. And that's probably
We're like, stuff it down. I don't know why I feel so sick all the time.
yeah, I don't know why these migraines and diarrhea and stuff. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I have an aneurysm. Yeah, it's like, so I really appreciate that in seeing somebody who I consider to be really put together. Like, you're a therapist, so you know you're the best at this, right?
I mean, you know, but it doesn't mean you do. Like you'll never meet a crazier bunch than mental health professionals.
I don't know. Comedians are pretty wacky.
True.
We're
We
close.
both kind of, hey, we're like rivers that run right next to one another. Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, I think it's important for people to know that I'm in it with them, because it's still a human experience, right? It's not like just because I know better, I'm got all my shit together. I just do my best and I know better. So when I do fuck up, I'm like, oh, you knew you shouldn't have done that. Like, you're acting impulsively. You should have take a beat, think about it, you know?
Yeah. Which is so helpful for people to see someone else go through emotions and then be done with them, and go through them and go through. I always think of Ram Dass. I don't know if you ever listen to him. He's dead now, but he was one of these 1960s gurus around the time of like, I forget what all these other druggy guys. That ain't Ram Dass. R-A-M new word, D-A-S-S. He's a white guy. There he is.
There he is.
And he was one of these LSD gurus in the 60s, and he taught at Berkeley, and he was a therapist as well. And he always he had this great thing about letting the emotions pass through you.
Yeah, think of them like waves. People are worried it's going to be a tsunami.
That's
And
what
I'm
I
like,
do sometimes.
It really isn't. It's only a tsunami if you like keep trying to hold the waves off, like with your like kind of shittily put together dam.
Yep.
And then it feels
It
overwhelming.
gets way worser.
Well, that's why you like will scream at strangers or fight with a loved one. It's because you've been like holding them off, and then you're like, ah, you like rage.
Yeah.
So
I see my husband do it. I remember, I never forget one time, the fan in our kitchen was not working. God damn it. This fucking fan, the fucking fan not working. And I was like, oh, that's displaced anger.
it is totally displaced.
But healthy that he's taking it out on the fan and not on me
Totally, 100%.
or the kids.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, well, it's just that's the rage of a comedian.
Yeah, you're like, you give it to that fan. You just
You fucking stupid fan. Well, I see a lot of I feel too, and tell me if I'm accurate here in your professional opinion, but with the social media culture, I think Dr. Drew wrote about this in his book about narcissism and social media and celebrity, is that back in the day, celebrities were kept behind a veil, right? Meaning you were commissioned, you were bought by a studio, let's say, as talent.
Yep.
And they 100% calculated and managed your public image. So you never knew that Rock Hudson was gay until, many years later when he could just tell you that. Everybody had a squeaky clean image. And truth is, most of us in the entertainment business, surprise, mentally ill. Why? It's a wacky business that you have to be mental to even want to be in.
Well, it takes a lot to hear no all the time and keep going, right? And
That's absurd.
And to have this huge goal for everybody to know who you are and see you.
Narcissism, unmet childhood needs.
Yep.
So we're rampant with these personality disorders and issues.
Yeah.
And now with social media, there's no veil. And so you see celebrities, movie stars, really some of my friends, and I'm like, yo, girl, you better fucking rein that shit back. And COVID, I believe, has really drummed up anxiety in certain people.
Yeah, 100%.
And I do feel too like the social media culture has driven this hysteria and driven the fear.
Well, it's
more.
so easy to share. Something that really pisses me off is the fact that people will share like a infograph, meaning
what
just
does
like
this
a pretty looking meme with a bunch of data on it, but we don't know where the fuck that data came from, and no one's checking any facts. And they're like, this fits my narrative.
Yeah.
I'm going to reshare this all over the place. And people are like, yes. And then those people share it, and then those people share it. And it's like, we don't even know if that's true. And we don't even, they just like what it says about them. Look at me. I'm so informed.
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy.
I'm informed. I'm signaling that I'm
virtue signaling,
compliant
just like
to this and that, or I'm with this person, and it's very fascinating time we live in.
Yeah, but it does perpetuate like anxiety, stress, overwhelm, and it's
because I have to tell you, like when I hear like the Rock and his family tested positive for COVID, and I don't know The Rock. I don't know how his reaction was to COVID, but to have him come out and make a statement on the gram, like did something to me. Like Tom and I talked about it. Tom was like, The Rock has COVID. And
if he can get it, anybody can.
Yeah. And so like it made me feel more afraid a little. It made me like, and plus his state, anyway, I think it's just contributing. Oh, your mommy, she's on a ketogenic diet right now. And let me tell you, I don't feel like I'm deprived because of Magic Spoon cereal. I have my kids' cereals on the shelf below Mommy's Magic Spoon. And every Saturday morning, Ellis and I wake up and I have my bowl of Magic Spoon chocolate cereal, and he gets to eat the real thing because he's a kid and they're made of magic themselves and they never have sugar or anything. Here's why I love Magic Spoon. It tastes exactly like the naughty stuff. There is 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. 4 great flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. And it tastes too good to be true. It's keto friendly. Hello, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low carb, and GMO free. Go to magicspoon.com/WMMA to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code WMMA at checkout to get free shipping. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/WMMA. Use code WMMA for free shipping. And we thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this podcast. This episode is brought to you by Adam and Eve, the #1 adult toy superstore. Adam and Eve says the best part of staying at home is playing at home. Man, ain't that the truth? Listen, I've been with the same guy for 15 years, and I have gone to adamandeve.com a few times. You know what? Why not spice things up with a cock ring? Yeah, I said it. I'm a mom, and we use a cock ring. Why not something that vibrates? Why not something exciting? Why not, hey, they have so many sexy gifts. They have lingerie. They have lubes, lotions, couples toys, toys for women, toys for men. So here's what you're going to do. Take advantage of the downtime and choose almost any one item and get 50% off at adamandeve.com with code WMMA. And when you do, you'll receive 10 free boredom-busting gifts, including 6 spicy movies, a 3-piece bonus kit, and best of all, free shipping delivered discreetly. I know you're like, I don't want people to know I ordered this. Oh my God, they're never going to know. Nobody knows. There's no labeling on the package. Remember to use offer code WMMA. That's WMMA at checkout for this amazing deal. Adam and Eve has thousands of products to make you glad you're staying at home. Go to adamandeve.com and use that offer code WMMA to get 50% off just about any item plus 10 free gifts. Use code WMMA at checkout. So let's get to the listener questions. Let's start with some voicemails. I like to hear people's voices first native. Let's start there.
Hi, mommies. My name's Val. I'm 24 years old, and I'm from Tampa. So I'm the youngest out of 5. My mother is 60 and my dad is 76, and he's showing early stages of Alzheimer's, and he also has Parkinson's. My mom and I didn't really have a good relationship. My mom was very mentally abusive towards me and my siblings and my dad. And now that I'm 24, I'm trying to spend a little bit more time with my dad. I love him to death. He's my best friend, but I feel like the relationship that I have with my mom is kind of keeping that from happening. Last year, she pulled a knife on me to break into my room because she was praying in front of my door and I wouldn't answer her. And I was just wondering, how would I be able to separate the guilt that I feel because my parents are older and I want to be around them from the fact that I need to let that go and move on with my life, because I feel like that's something that's really hard to do, to move on and get a good career and a good home when my parents are in that spot when they're getting older and need me around. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day.
Wow. Good question.
Yeah, and very common, unfortunately. Relationships that thrive on guilt are not relationships you want. And it's hard, but the main thing for like my advice, you have to grieve. It fucking sucks, man. As I want to say it's around in your 20s. It depends. Probably men it's like in their 30s, but women it's like in their mid 20s. You realize how fucked up your parents are. And you're like, wow, their best was not good. Not good at all.
Speaking my language.
All of a sudden you're like, holy shit. And so it sounds like she's reaching that where she's like, wow, my mom is like crazy
Really
and I can't tolerate it. And so the real goal would be like something that's been helpful for, even for me, I think everybody should do this because parents are never perfect, is make a list of the things that you would want from them. Like, what's an ideal relationship? Let's live in that. Like, ooh, they like listen and they like care for me. And my mom doesn't open my room with a knife or anything and like threaten me. That's awesome.
The ideal, which is hilarious because that's just the bare minimum of a good parent.
It is pretty
just listening, being
take
present.
care of me emotionally.
Don't open
physically.
credit cards in my name.
Yeah,
shit
right.
like that.
Fuck up your credit. Yeah. Just, basic things.
Yeah.
So what would you look for? And then, even make a little line and like, what do I need now? So there's like, what's the ideal scenario? What do I need now? And then I want you to make a separate list of what they're able to give. And then you have to look at those two lists and you have to grieve the difference.
That's really helpful.
And it's uncomfortable and it's sad and you're going to be mad. And then you're going to be like, oh, but I should. Stop shitting on it. You're shitting all over yourself and nothing good comes out of that. Like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish I wanted to be around. You just don't. They're bad. It's not good.
Well, and also it's not your fault that you don't want to be around them.
It's theirs.
Right.
Actually, like you can only clean your side of the street, right? You're only responsible for your portion. Like if we're trying to build a friendship and I just never call you back and never show up, or like when we do get together, I talk like shittily to you, why would you want to see me? You know?
Right. But I think there's so much societal stuff about, honor thy mother and father. And I would hear that so much. And, I think that the big struggle too is, and what she's grappling with is like, they're getting older, they're getting sicker. And what is your level of, is it filial piety that the Asian culture has, where
Like
you're
responsibility.
Yes, like you have a responsibility. So where does that end? And what is your duty?
What are you able to give? You have to like really consider that, because everyone's going to be different, because you're actually not responsible.
Really?
Let's consider who's the adult here.
Right. Who is the adult here?
Who's the parent?
Right.
It's not you.
No.
And it's not your responsibility to do that for them. I know different cultures have different things. Like, everybody's going to be different, but I'm just telling you that, like, especially since they've been shitty, you're not beholden to them. Nothing pisses me off more than when parents are like, you owe me. Like, I fed you and I cleaned your diapers, and you're like, oh, you did the things a parent does because you decided to have a child.
That's what oh God, my mother used to make me crazy, is she would guilt me for how I was at 15. And I was like, bitch, you decided to have me.
Ta-da, I'm here.
So of you. Yes. Or she would complain about my father being this and that. And I'm like, dude, you chose him as your baby daddy.
Choices in life lead to results.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you owe your parents nothing.
Yeah. And that sounds so, here's the deal though. I do, for my own situation with both my folks, I made sure that their material needs are met. Meaning,
That's really nice of you.
Well, I didn't pay for it. I didn't say that.
Like, wow.
I ain't no money bags here. But I'm saying that, I think the material stuff, like, let's make sure they're not eating Alpo, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's a moral obligation you're due. Make sure that that's met and that they're kind of being looked after and by
like basic
someone,
needs.
Right? A social worker or whatever. Their physical needs they're looked after. It doesn't have to be you.
But we can make sure that's happening.
Yes, and I did see that with my mother, that her material needs, her mental stuff was being handled by people.
Well, there's places you can place them, right? And then Medicare, Medicaid takes care of it, and you set all that shit up. Yes.
But you don't need to torture yourself, is what you're saying. You don't need to give up your life to make mommy and daddy happy.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think it's a bad thing to say, like, you don't owe your parents anything, but just consider the language. I don't owe them. Like, you owe me.
It's nuts.
No, it's like, I would love to have a relationship with you built on mutual understanding and respect.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's two adults.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because the idea that my sons would owe me for this it is preposterous.
Right?
It is
But
absurd.
so many parents, unhealthy, toxic, potentially narcissistic parents, build relationships off of guilt and guilting people. And I don't know about anybody else out there, but I don't want someone doing something because they feel like they have to. They're guilted into it.
Neither do I, unless it's my husband. And I love when Tom feels guilty. Yeah, I like motivating my husband that way. But you know what I read one time in Wayne Dyer's book, You're Erroneous Zones? I don't know if you've ever read that. It's his first book, written in like the 70s. He said that guilt is repressed anger. I don't know, is that true?
I could see that, definitely.
Like,
I think a lot of things are repressed anger.
Interesting. Say more.
So like self-hatred, lack of self-confidence, anxiety, it's all from that. I mean, just think of how it like manifests itself, because anger is really a secondary emotion. It's usually protective, meaning it's like, it's not the real root emotion. It's the one that we're comfortable showing, because who wants to show vulnerability, sadness, guilt?
Wimpy.
We don't like that, right? It's like, but anger, that's powerful. Yeah, just
it's always comfortable with anger. Yeah, I loved anger.
Oh, me too. Everybody does. Yeah.
Just
go out and like,
it is empowering, because you can be like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna take the world over. Yeah.
I know, it's like
interesting.
Going back to that teenage years of me, like angry me. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
I'm glad I went to therapy for years to get rid of her.
Yeah. Well, because I think about my career in stand-up, and so much of that was anger. Anger. 15 years of just, maybe 10, the first 10.
Well, it's motivating also.
So motivating.
But then at a certain point, it becomes destructive, right?
Yeah.
It's like motivating, then you're like, and we've reached peak motivation.
Yeah.
Self-destruct.
Well, that's why you see a lot of famous people imploding once they get there, and then they go, oh, is that all there is? Oh no, when my mommy and daddy still don't love me the way I want.
I don't feel better inside.
I don't feel good. Yeah, I'm still the miserable cunt I always was.
Yep. Totally.
And now, so.
And I'm stuck with me. Wherever I go, there I am. Ta-da.
That's like that hippie shit. Yeah, wherever you go, there you
Yeah.
are.
And surprise, surprise, those people, those celebrities we hear later come out that they're like, treat everybody like shit.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, they're just really angry at themselves and their life choices.
Yes.
Never processed it.
That's why it's so important to feel the feelings.
Yeah, it's okay to feel angry, but it's also okay to feel bad, sad, mad, irritated. It's okay to feel disappointed.
Right, because they're just feelings. They're
Yeah.
not, it's not a rational thought. It comes up in you.
Yeah, it's normal. Like how we have feelings all day, every day. And it's okay to be, especially now, I feel like people need to allow themselves to cry and grieve because shit is weird.
It's weird right now.
And crazy. And like, you were supposed to have recorded a big thing that you've been working on for years, and it's fucking sad. And I was sad for you.
Oh, it was terrible. For those of you who don't know, I was supposed to go record my stand-up hour, and it was like we locked in a venue.
You're like,
yeah, I was like, I had a countdown of months, and my hour was just getting locked, and then this all happened. But it's okay. It's just postponed.
Well, yeah, but it's okay to grieve it too.
Yes, and I tell you, not being able to do stand-up, that's a huge way I process emotion. So this has been like, oh, how do I channel this fucking
You got to
beast?
find some new coping skills, man.
I know, I've been drinking.
That's not what I meant.
No? What about pills?
No.
No, I was kidding. I don't take that. I can't get involved in
Like
all that.
exercise or talking to friends,
I did all that.
seeing people,
Bullshit. Yeah, friends.
journal. I know you like to write. You take
journal.
notes all the
I've been
time.
journaling since I was 12. I'm so afraid that someone's going to find them.
Just tear it up when you're done.
I know. I got to
Burn
burn
it.
some other ones.
Burn it. It's like a burn book.
So yeah, I love that movie. Okay, let's do some more voicemails. I like to hear people's voices.
Hi, my name's Amanda from Colorado. I have a question for Katie. I have a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, both boys. My 6-year-old, I'm really having trouble getting him to take me seriously when I ask him to do things or ask him not to do things. And I'm trying to figure out how to have appropriate consequences and stay consistent with them. So I guess I'm just wanting help with knowing what that would look like. I also think that we should bring Get Your Life back to the Christina P world.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Life. I used to say that a lot. Tamar Braxton used to go, get your life. Get your life, girl. All right, shit, it's back. Get
Go
your life.
get it.
So what should she do, man? How do you get them damn kids to listen?
Don't shout because kids will shut down or they'll lash out more. So it's actually better to just explain again. So I'm asking you to do this. And then when they're young, I mean, taking stuff away and timeouts are the most effective. People always want to like yell or even spank some people, you know, and no judgments on people, like whatever. But
I judge. Don't hit your damn kids.
No, it doesn't get you anywhere. It actually makes
No,
it worse.
don't hit 'em.
So, and really the best we know through research, years and years of research, you can, check, you can Google, check me. It's fine. You can totally check that. Is just to take things away.
Yeah.
So as a 6-year-old, it depends on what your 6-year-old loves, but they can't do that anymore if they don't do this thing. And you have to let them know while you're asking, I'm asking you to pick your toys up and put them in the box like we always do. And if you don't, there'll be no video game. There'll be no books at bedtime. There'll be no, I don't know, whatever they love.
Whatever they treasure the most.
Yeah.
Now that's the hard part, is that my older son can conceal what he loves the most sometimes, and then the toy switches. So, but cartoons.
But then no toys, maybe.
Ooh, no toys. That's terrible. Yeah, but I find the cartoon thing is a biggie in our
Well, yeah,
house.
the kids will love, because I know a lot of parents like restrict the amount that they can watch, or like YouTube or whatever it is, right?
Of course.
So then you take those things away.
Take them away. That does work. I do find that you're
does.
right.
It motivates them.
The more you spiral, by the way, listen, no parent is perfect. Like
No,
when
and
they're
if they catch
pissing
you
you
tired,
off,
too,
oh fuck
oh.
off. It's like that's when they know
Then
to act
bribe.
up.
Just bribe them.
Just all the time.
Sometimes you
want
just
a cookie. Yeah.
I'll give you that cookie if you do this.
Just
thing.
fucking
just
do it. Get
right?
your jammies on. Here's a
I
cookie.
slept 4 hours last night. Get out of my face.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you blow it and you lose it. God damn it. Get
We're not
over here.
perfect.
But for the most part, calm, assertive energies like Cesar Millan.
Exactly.
Don't let those fuckers phase you.
Nope.
Because they are like pack animals, man. They smell
Who's
your
the alpha?
feet. they smell that shit. So the minute you lose your cool, then they're like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
The game it's a game to them,
And
which
kids,
is a good sign.
I always remember, like, because my dad worked away from home, like he's a contract worker. And so when he would come back,
I mean, he killed people for a living?
exactly.
What is
he's a
he?
Boilermaker.
Wow.
So welded for a living. Contract killer.
Mafia?
That would be such a cool, I mean, not, but kind of cool.
Kind of the coolest thing ever.
No, not exciting. Construction.
Okay.
Anyway, when he would come back from like a job, he would feel guilty for having left, you know? And so my brother and I knew. So like if I wanted something, that was the time to ask. So kids know. I remember that because I'm like, if I remember that as an adult that I would do that, your 6-year-old's pulling one over. They know. If you let, they see that weakness.
Girl, they know by 1.5 how to manipulate your ass. The 2-year-old knows how to manipulate
I'm
me
sure.
now. That's their gift. It's an important human skill because you're going to have to use it your whole life.
Well, you had to get your needs met.
Get your needs met. You manipulate. What was I going to say? Oh, you know what I was I don't know if you have any thoughts on this as a therapist, but we were watching old school Sesame Street, and I'm talking like the first 3 episodes.
I watched that as a kid, yeah.
And it was started in 1969, which is bananas.
Wow, 16, jeez.
I know, dude. Anyways, my 4 and 2-year-old, they love it, and it's because it's like it literally was at one point a children's television show, meaning a 4-year-old could watch another 4-year-old on the screen doing basic things. I'm washing my hair. And then there's another video of like children jumping over a log. Now Martin jumps over the log. Now Sally jumps over the log. And now the dynamic on that show is different, where now it's adults and puppets.
Oh,
and
which is not the same.
Right. And I was thinking, what do you think? Why the shift in? Because he's riveted, and it's just watching another child.
I think I would assume it's shifted and they don't do that anymore just because of like...
It's harder to work with kids.
It is. And there's so many laws and stuff too, for good reason, to protect children. We always say like, if God loves you, he makes you a star. If he hates you, he makes you a child star. Ooh. Because like it's hard to grow up that way, right? To be entertaining. But I think it is important for children to see it's modeling. Like you were saying how helpful it is for me to say it's okay to feel things, and I feel things, and I show myself, having tough times. Same for kids. They need to see it, and spoilers. I do think I'm going to launch like a children's channel.
I think you should.
Not till like December, January, but yeah, I've been like playing around with some ideas.
Fantastic. I think the children's space
Maybe you could come on.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love that, because the children's space is great, and then it's not great.
Yeah.
I think the pacing of the programming is too fast, because I watch my children watching this 1969.
And it's
and
slower.
And literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's just dots. And he's fucking like, yeah, dude, when's the next
they're
dot?
like, I'm so here for this.
Yeah. Versus now, it's like, almost.
And the color.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like jump cuts. When people just like figured out what jump cuts were in YouTube, you're like,
yeah, it's too
much.
It's overstimulating.
Yeah.
And when we grew up, we had shows like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Loved Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, and the pace of it was relaxed, and that's children's pace.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they
that's
have to
exciting.
absorb.
You're doing that.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'll tell you more.
I want to know more. Yeah, please, can I be on it?
Of course,
I
that'd
would
be
love
so
to
fun.
Do children's stuff. It's
Well,
so
we
fun.
do such adult stuff. It's kind of fun to be like, oh, let's consider this from a child's perspective. I mean, I'm sure you do child stuff because you're at home with your kiddos.
Yeah.
But it's cool to think, how could I improve for them later? Like, because you're trying to teach them about emotions now.
Yeah.
Like I love my cousin, her daughter loves Daniel Tiger.
Oh, I've heard of this. We don't watch that one yet.
It teaches emotions and stuff. He's super cute, and she sings little songs. So songs are good for children to learn.
Yeah.
Helps them remember, retain information. But it's like, when I'm angry, I count to 4, and then
Gives
I'm
them
okay.
a tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
And she sings her little songs. Yeah, isn't he cute?
That's great.
I love Daniel Tiger.
Yeah, because I don't feel as though I didn't understand, and there's no tutorials for emotions in our era. I think people thought children were just smaller adults.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of However, Sesame Street, and they're woke AF, by the way. In 69,
So fun. I have to watch that.
it was great. The lead characters are a black working class family, and you're like, oh, it's so fucking crazy. And the kids
Yeah.
are all mixed. There's no like,
Yeah, it's not like
all
all
white.
these. Yeah.
It was really progressive. I was like, wow, the fucking Sesame Street killing that shit.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
now
Back
it's
in
a little-
1969. And now it's
know.
just like puppets and
I hate
cartoons and
Elmo.
like Coco Melon shit and crazy
and
stuff.
Yeah, and also, Elmo doesn't have a personality. I don't like that he's a
no.
non-entity.
I know. He's like, he has no emotions really.
None.
Other than excitement.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that children love drama.
Mm-hmm.
I showed my son The Little Mermaid, the 4-year-old, yesterday because he's interested in witches. And I go, oh, you want to see a
wanna
wicked
see
ass
a
witch?
witch?
Yeah, I go,
Yeah.
this Ursula's a real piece of shit.
I always wished I had lipstick that could squeeze out of the. Remember she put it on? Poor unfortunate soul.
Yes, and
Oh,
they
she's
love
so
the
evil.
drama, and people think that children can't handle the
Yeah.
ups and downs. The truth is, they live for. Oh, Peter Pan is in danger? Pirate Hook is gonna kill him. He's gonna. They don't understand death, but they know
No,
that there's.
a danger.
Yeah, they like this drama.
Well, it helps them. I
So-
think it's even like we watch Bambi, and everybody's like, oh, "How could children watch their mother get killed?" Oh,
It happens to them all the time.
but that's the thing is children also like that's part of why I think the channel that I'm going to create needs to exist is like having children understand death, loss of a
Yes.
pet.
Yeah.
What happens at grandpa? I mean, it's sad to think of that, but it happens to children all the time. And instead of talking to them about it, we pretend that, oh, they don't even know it's happening.
Which is
such a lie.
worse.
Children always know what's happening.
Yeah.
Or at least even if they don't know, they make up their own story.
Which is
Which is worse. Because the only way we know how to make stories when we're children is to have us in it. So it's like, I did something to make this happen, to make mommy sad, or to,
Devastating.
make
And
the
that's-
dog run away. Or
And that's even worse than just saying like, hey, this is what's happening. And, it sucks. It's sad. And we're going to get through this and da-da-da.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting too. If you ever grew up reading the Grimm fairy tales. No,
Sounds so
Grimm-
happy.
Look up the Grimm, Brothers Grimm.
It sounds very familiar.
Yo, this is what Disney is based on. A lot of these old school
Oh, yes,
German fairy tales. So this is really dark shit. Now, Cinderella is based on a story called Aschenputtel, literally German meaning ash girl, because Cinderella sleeps cinder
Cinder.
in whatever. And in the original Grimm version of Aschenputtel, she cuts her foot off to fit into the glass slipper.
Oh
And
my
her foot
God.
bleeds all over the horse that he's. I mean, it's completely. And the Little Mermaid dies in the
Oh,
first
geez.
version and
Wow.
becomes foam on the water. So, but I think they wanted to teach kids. That's the shit I grew
hardcore.
up on.
That's
though.
some real shit
That's some
there.
real shit. But as a little girl, I loved it. I would read those stories and be like, oh, she's dead. Oh no! But then I would learn to appreciate when she was alive in the story. You know,
It
like
helps you process and understand.
Yeah.
Also, weren't you a goth?
Hardcore, bro.
So you were like, I am in.
I'm all in.
on this.
Dark sided
As you put on your black lipstick.
Fucking loved it. Let me tell you, Bela Lugosi dead. Okay. Whether you're working from home or working on your fitness, you want what you're listening to be what you're listening to, not what your roommates are listening to. And by the way, I'm the other way around. I don't like other people knowing what I listen to, what podcasts I'm into. This is why I love Raycon wireless earbuds. They do not cost as much as the other brands, and they are so fantastic. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet. Get this, 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. And you know what? They look cool, okay? Some of these other ones, you look like Shrek with these weird things in your ears. Not these Raycons. They're designed beautifully. And the company was founded by Ray J. I love Ray J. I mean, come on, how cute was he? And celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, and Mike Tyson are obsessed with Raycon. So join them. Now is the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/WMMA. That's buyraycon.com/WMMA for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/WMMA. Thank you, Raycon. This episode of Where My Mom's At is supported by OxiClean White Revive, my go-to product for laundry whitening and stain removal. Have you ever tossed out a white shirt because of a stain you couldn't get out? Do you have white linens that have become dingy over time? OxiClean White Revive laundry whitener and stain remover can save items that you thought were ruined or headed for the trash. With 40% more whitening power than chlorine bleach per load and none of the negative effects, OxiClean White Revive works like magic. It maintains brilliant whites and revives dingy whites to keep them looking like new longer. It gently lifts away stains while brightening and restoring whites. It's safe on colors and there's no risk of chlorine bleach spills or splatters or that harsh smell. You've got to try OxiClean White Revive laundry whitener and stain remover for yourself. To work your magic with OxiClean, go to oxyclean.com/tryme and order a free sample. That's oxyclean.com/TRYME for a free stain fighting sample while supplies last. OxiClean, work your magic. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. This is apropos or dog mom. Kind of around there. Hey mommies, I have a question about an expectation that I get from my husband and his Catholic family. I've been married for 2 years now and we've been together going on 8 years. We are 28 and 30 this year. I have been getting more pressure than ever to have a baby because we aren't following proto. Everyone else our age has one and it's quote our time. I want to have a baby, but I'm also graduating this November and trying to get a career out of the service industry. My question is, will this build a resentment between my husband and I if I make him wait a few more years? Excuse me, I almost threw up. I could care less. I had so much coffee this morning.
Ooh.
I had a keto muffin too.
Oh, keto.
It's
Look
disgusting.
at you. That
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
Horrible.
Muffins should have flour.
Oh, what a nightmare. My question is, will this build a resentment between my husband and I if I make him wait a few more years? I could care less what the rest of the family says. Love you, Jeans. Let me eat you one time, Sloan. Thank you, Sloan. Well, what do you think?
Okay, things like that are tricky, and it's you and your husband have to communicate.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure you're on the same page. Having a child is a huge decision.
Yeah.
And I, too often, not naming any of my friends, but many of them felt rushed and then they regretted it. And not, you don't regret your children. That sounds horrible because people will be like, I love them. No one's disputing that. But we need to do it when the timing's right for us and when you feel ready. And I don't think you'll ever be ready, just FYI, but because it's a huge life altering, an amazing thing at the same time. But you're so young. Holy fuck, man. What'd you say, 28?
That's not even. Yeah, you're talking to mommy. I had my first baby at 38.
Yeah, most of my friends have had them at like 35 as the earliest, I think. And one of my friends just had her last at 42.
Yeah, that's when I had my second.
So it's like, I mean, and I'm not saying you have to have it at any time, but it just needs to be right for you and your husband. So talk to him.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, Sean and I aren't having children, but I got all the shit for that. And I had
You
to
did,
oh yeah,
not Sean.
How come you're not having kids?
Yes, people think.
What do you hate children?
Yeah, you must. That people assume that you're somehow deficient as a woman.
Yeah, as
right?
a woman, I'm not as womanly because I don't want to use my uterus.
What do you think that's about? Why do people get so upset?
I think we have like these societal quote unquote norms, and if you go against the norm, they're like, what's wrong with you? And then my friends who are in it with 2 under 2 were like, misery loves company. So
I
like,
think
you
that's
should
what
have
it
a
is.
child. And I'm like, honey, no. And you're not making it look any better right now. I love you, but
Yes, listen, and people always say this stupid thing is, well, when's a good time to have a baby? I'm like, no. Please don't listen to this idiotic. Here's when's a good time. You have a solid relationship, preferably a marriage, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking go out there and say a little documentation, some fucking paperwork on your relationship is an inherently good idea. Protects the woman, by the way. Just protects your unit.
Yeah.
Money in the bank, great.
Yep.
A little career established. I'm not saying you have to be exactly where you want to be.
no, but have something going where even if you take the time off because you have to heal, you have to have a child,
You
push
gotta
it out of
take
your
time-
fucking
yeah,
your meow,
your
right?
meow hole, yeah. Yes.
It's like,
And so you must plan. So a lot of times you're right. I think people don't plan and then they have these horrible miserable lives and they want you to be miserable too.
Of course.
And that is so, and I think it's taboo to say that shit, but I agree. It's like, no, do it too so that we can commiserate.
they can grow up together and blah, blah. And I'm like,
That's why.
yeah.
Because I will tell you that parenthood, and it is, yes, it's wonderful. Yes, it's wonderful. I love my children more than life. I'm grateful that I got to have them. There is so much suffering.
Oh, 100%.
So much suffering with children.
Not only just, think about the time with your partner too. And people think, oh, baby will bring us closer.
No, girl.
You think you're going to want to have sex with your husband after a child's been touching you all day? Like my girlfriends, like after they're breastfeeding or something, like, I just want no one to touch me.
Of course.
So your body's not your own. Shit's all fucked up. You don't feel the same.
Of course.
So it's like, don't go into, I just feel like there's so much pressure out there to be like, oh, I should again, like shitting on it.
Should.
You and your husband need to talk. You need to figure out what your plan is. If you want children, that's great. Where do you feel like you're comfortable? Because if he wants them now and you don't want them for like 5 years, maybe there's some, movement in there where you're like, okay, well, let's wait 2 and we'll assess there. Talk to him.
I agree. And also, I always encourage women to, if you want to delay your child birthing stuff, go to the fertility doctor, have them look at you. All they do is an ultrasound. Yeah. They can see how many eggs you have. They take a blood draw. They test your FSH, your levels. And if you really want to prolong, look, the uterus is good until what, you're 50 or something? You can carry. Put your eggs on ice. Is it expensive? Yeah. But then you're going to have some fucking dope ass embryos when you're 42 and they're going to be perfect.
Yeah, they're 28-year-old embryos.
Oh, they're sparkling embryos. Do it. Invest now so that you're not panicked when you're 39 trying to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And then you can buy yourself a decade if you just put that shit on ice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let these haters hate. And good for you. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But I will say that whole thing of like, I don't want to be touched, that goes away when you stop really breastfeeding. Yeah. And once your kid is like 4 and they're a person, you've got a lot more autonomy. Yes. And you'll feel like a woman again, like a normal person. Because
you're not the restaurant. And,
the restaurant.
24/7 restaurant.
Hilarious. Yeah. I find that breastfeeding is more, that was very much a psychological thing to be somebody's food source. And it really fucked with my head. It was too much.
A lot of my friends can't do it, but then there's the guilt of not doing that.
Oh, the guilt.
That's why it's like important when you go into this that you, even though it's hard and shit's gonna be fucked up, you're gonna not feel like there's things, it's a big transition, but you need to be ready. You need to be ready. And you need to like feel like you're in a place where it's good. It's not like you're ever going to be quote unquote ready because you don't know
what's happening. But you don't know what's going to happen.
You shouldn't feel rushed into this. That's like anything in life. No one else gets to decide what you do in your life. So talk to your partner, figure out what's best for you guys, put a little plan together. Like, hey, let's check in every 6 months about this. Maybe that'll make him feel better or you feel better. Communicate.
Yeah.
And also tell his family to fuck off.
Tell them to go fuck themselves.
If you want to have a child, fucking have your own child. Jesus Christ. Adopt a kid. I don't care. Get out of my life.
I know. People would pressure Tom and I, because I really put it off so late. Like his mother, everybody was pressuring me. And I was like, look, you love kids so much. You go fucking have one.
Go get your own.
Yeah.
Stop talking about my uterus and my business.
Yes.
Jesus.
Get your life, man. I brought it back. Okay.
Get your life.
This one's good. So my boyfriend and I have been together over 2 years. The first year was perfect in every way. I was elated, truly the happiest I've ever been. We decide to have a baby about a year in, and a few days later I get a call from a woman saying congrats on the baby and that he had been sleeping with her all year. I was torn and broken. I had little time to decide, abort and leave or stay and have a baby. The situation was fucked, but I ended up staying. It's been 1.5 years since I found out about the cheating. He's been in therapy and has changed. He's a good dad, but I'm still hurting. I have good days, but some are just bad, and everything reminds me of it. I love him, but I can't even watch a movie about someone being unfaithful without feeling angry and hurt. I don't want to break up my family, but I'm still not over it. Never thought I'd be one to stay after such a betrayal, but here I am. Please help. Oh, what do you think? That's so tough.
Well, there's therapy answer and then there's Kati answer. Which one do you want first?
Well, give me what the party line is. You tell me the therapy answer and then tell me what you really think.
Okay, so the therapy answer is that if we are going to move through an infidelity, we have to just choose to. And for a period of time, they're going to have to allow you access to things that you're not going to have access to for a long time. So like a 6-month period where you can check their phone whenever. You can ask them where they're going. You can check in on them.
6 months, you say?
You can do the Find My Phone at any time. And they don't have any privacy for a little period of time to help gain the trust. So you have to come to this understanding of how, but it can't be forever. It's got to be a time limit.
That sounds like that's key to this.
And then you have to move forward and decide not to look back. So you can't keep using that as a weapon. It's no longer useful. If you do that, the relationship won't grow. And if they won't allow you access for a short period of time, the relationship can't grow. So there's a little bit of concessions on both sides, and then you have to just choose to move forward.
Okay.
So that's the therapy answer.
And the real answer?
Fuck that guy. I would never. I mean, I'm glad he's a good father and I understand, but I think you had another choice there, which was keep the baby and move the fuck out.
Yeah. Does she have the help? I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, there's friends and family, maybe.
Maybe.
But you don't need a man.
No.
And if he wants to be a father, don't move far away. If that's, I'm sure you have a job in the area, like do that. But what a dirtbag. That's like the me answer. Like,
Whew, I mean,
if Sean cheated, I would fucking burn his shit in the lawn, change the locks, fucking punch him out. I just could not. And I know that inner rage from childhood would come back.
Me too. And I always tell Tom, I'm like, oh my God, if you cheat on me, I'm taking all this shit.
I'm taking everything. And I'm fucking with you for years and you won't even know what's happening.
I know. I'm like, you like your kids, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
You'll never see them again. I'm so evil. With that
so
shit.
Evil.
Yeah.
I'd even help you.
I know.
Right? Like,
there's nothing because I was cheated on by a college boyfriend. And
me too.
And like you can kind of go back, but it takes so long.
And you just never, it doesn't, for me personally, it's really hard for me, any like little twinge. Because there's so much trust in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Like how many times does Sean go do? I'm like,
Whatever.
okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
See you later, bye.
Yeah.
But if there was that worry,
Oh my God.
I couldn't do anything. It like fuck everything up, and then I'd always be like, I wonder if you,
It's very fucked up. And then you put a baby in that mix, and like you were saying, the first couple 2 to 3 years of a child, you're so maternal. You're in mommy overdrive,
and hormones.
But also that pressure of like trying, because also what happens, at least with me, is that when I got cheated on, I was really I was trying to win him back. I mean, I was also in my 20s where like,
same.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I can try and win him back. And then you're thinking like, should I be meeting his sexual needs? So she might be preoccupied with meeting his sexual needs.
But baby
suffers because of that. Like the truth is the baby is the focus. Like that's where your energy goes. And a cheating spouse, husband, whatever, is an energy suck.
Yeah.
That's taking focus from your baby.
And how selfish of him.
Oh, what a cunt. Yeah.
Fuck.
I'd fucking cut his nuts off
same.
and throw him in the river.
Same. Cook him up for him for dinner. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'll fucking kill you. Are we menstruating? Is that what's happening? Are we on the same cycle?
Not yet.
Okay, this one's a good one. My name is Debbie. Hello, my Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Debbie. You don't meet many Debbies anymore. I said old school
Debbie.
Debbie. I like him.
I want to say Debbie.
I'm in New Mexico, born and raised. Good. My question for you today is, how do I know when my boundaries are crossed? I have physically separated myself from the problems I had on a daily basis, and I still feel stressed over them. I don't know if that goes into my passive behavior, but I would like to know is, how do I know when my boundaries are crossed? What could be my warning signs? And what do I do when the people I care most about cross them? What do you think, Debbie?
Boundaries are
good question.
Yeah, great question, Debbie. Boundaries are, everybody has to have them. I think a lot of people assume boundaries mean like rigidity or selfishness.
What is a boundary? Let's talk about it. What does it mean?
So a boundary, we think of boundaries a lot of times like in property. That's an easy way to think of it, right? Like if we live next to each other, there's a boundary in between where it goes from your property to my property. However, there are like physical and psychological boundaries, meaning what's okay for you to do to me and not do to me. What can you say and not say? All of these things. And so the way we know a boundary is crossed, emotional and physical, is usually met with discomfort. So it's like, for instance, I hate when a stranger in like a crowded restaurant puts their hand on the low part of my back to get around me. I'm like, and I'm almost like hyper vigilant, and I haven't been traumatized, but I'll be like, oh, I'm like, who are you? You know? And I give like a death stare, like, don't touch me. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
People do that all the time. But so I don't like that because I don't know you. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
So that's my sign that that's a boundary. Like, I don't really like being touched if I don't know who you are and where it's coming from. I mean,
normal, reasonable,
right? Regular human reaction. But emotionally, it could be like someone oversharing your personal information and we become angry or we become irritable or defensive, right? There's all these things that can come out of that. Or if someone talks to us in a way we don't like, we can find ourselves wanting to shut down or lash out. So those are just indications that whether or not you put boundaries in place, something's been crossed and that your body tells you. And so the way that we can set those up is figuring out what's okay and not okay. Think back to the last time you felt like you're going to explode, like with rage, or when you wanted to like isolate, you know, just duck out and just zone out, or maybe you wanted to drink more, shop more.
Every day.
You know, right? It's quarantine. But drinking more, shopping more, if you act out sexually, that can be, some people are over sexualized. You know, there's a lot of ways we can try to
Yeah,
cope.
what is that when people act out sexually? That's interesting to me.
It can be a control thing. A lot of times it comes out of something people don't talk enough about is like if we've been abused in the past, we can want to take control back of our sexuality, so we can become over sexualized. Like I do it when I want, you know, and that's our way of coping.
Yeah. Because I see a lot of like, I see a lot of, well, this culture now, it's kind of turned that into something that's considered feminist or like awesome, where you're like, I'm hot, I'm owning it. It's like, I don't know. Are you damaged?
Yeah.
Do you need therapy?
Well, it's a fine line.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm serious.
It's true. And
I
you have to
know.
figure out what's okay and not okay.
So how do you put down a boundary? So let's talk about, so for instance, I know my dad at one point, he would tell me about his girlfriends, like his romance stuff, and I'd have to be like, yeah, Dad, we can talk about the weather, we can talk about ducks, Coca-Cola, whatever. I don't want to hear about that, you know, and but they don't always get met well, boundaries.
No.
Right? So let's talk about putting them down and what to expect when you put them down.
Yeah, so you have to communicate what's okay and not okay. And the best way to do it is usually it's going to be in the moment, but if you can do it like ahead of time, that's better. But it depends on the situation and how often you talk to or see the person. But you just have to say, like, let's say you were oversharing stuff with me. And I'd be like, hey, Christina, like, I love you, but, you know, I don't need to know all that. Right. That'd be an easy way to, like, get it out. And
they say, well, you don't care about me. You want to hear, you don't want to be, well, what do you mean? I thought we were friends.
And I'll say, we are friends. There's just some things I don't need to know. I hear you. I'm here for you. I just can't be there for that stuff.
Well, fuck you, bitch.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. You have to like take it.
Because sometimes people freak.
Oh, totally.
Because here's the deal, man. Most of the time, those people that are crossing your boundaries are not.
They're toxic.
Yeah,
narcissists.
they suck. Like, if you have to really tell somebody, like, don't tell me about X, Y, and Z, they're 9 times out of 10 they're shitbirds anyways.
It's true.
And like,
but I did a video where I role played it with myself, like how you'd uphold it when someone freaks out. And you just have to practice ahead of time. So when you go into this conversation, you're prepared. But then if you're like, well, fuck you, then I'll be like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I was just trying to tell you I can be there for you. I care about you. I just can't hear. You just keep going back. I just can't hear this stuff. I love you. I hope you change your mind. Walk away.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that would infuriate both my parents, because both my parents used me as their therapist. And eventually in my late 20s, early 30s, I was like, guys, can't do it no more.
Yeah, you're like, please stop.
Go get a therapist. What are you talking to me?
Right?
And they would get so mad at me, like, what are you talking about? You know? I'm like, oh my God, they get so mad at me. I'm like, who are you? Why are you downloading to me?
Right?
I don't even have friends that dump this shit on me.
Serious? Well, family can be that way though.
They're worse.
Because they're already closer. So then they think like, oh, I can tell you anything. And parents can be really bad. Then you're a parentified child, which sounds like that's kind of what happened to you.
100%.
Like, they're not a parent and you're the child. You're like equals.
Oh God,
which messes everything up.
So gross. I can't even imagine downloading to my children.
No, right. And why would you want to share that with them? It just seems so inappropriate.
All of it is.
And just not, I don't know. What are your girlfriends? I don't know. But you probably didn't have any friends.
No friends. My mother used to tell me about my stepdad's penis at one point because his pickle is infected. He has an infection on his pickle.
That's disgusting.
I know. She's like, I don't want to touch his pickle. And I was like, oh. I was like 20 at that time, 19. I was like, Mom.
You're like, no more pickle talk.
Stepdad's dick. Yeah.
That's disgusting. pissed.
I know.
And
She's-
it's not only is he talking about his penis, but it's infected.
It's infected. He has skin infection on his pickle, and he wants me to play with that. Don't play with his pickle. I'm like,
Oh
You
God.
guys are horny.
they were.
Ew. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this one. Hey, Hitler. My wife and I have been married for a little over a year, and I grew up in a house that was always unkept and cluttered, and she flips her shit over a single fork in the sink. I pay all the bills and home maintenance. Should I swallow my pride and take on all of the cleaning duties as well, or tell her to do it her damn self and don't be stingy as she refuses to outsource it to someone else? Thanks, mommies. We up out of here.
Bro,
Kato.
she refuses to outsource. That was going to be my first thing. I was like, we
Yeah.
talked about this last time.
Outsource.
Because cleaning.
Who the fuck? I mean, some sick people out there love to clean and great.
I
but
mean, if I
you're
had
not-
nothing else to do.
But I have friends who love to clean. It gives them a really deep satisfaction. Like it's just
Yeah.
what they do.
It can be fulfilling and feel like
Yeah.
a sense of accomplishment.
I get that kind of, not
Kind
really.
of, right.
But okay, so what should he do?
You have to communicate. It sucks. It's uncomfortable. They're probably going to fight back, but you've got to say like, this is my norm. This is your norm. And we have to meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And my advice to this person's wife or partner, whoever, dude, pick your battles, man.
Always.
About a fork in the sink. You know how much I'd fight with Sean if I fought about a fork in the sink? We'd never have anything to talk about other than fighting.
I know. It's funny because I did this pajama party podcast with Rob Eiler and Jamie Lynn Sigler, and she was talking about communication, and she's so cute. She's like, my husband and I, we did ayahuasca and we talked about everything, and she's so sweet and unassuming. We talked about everything. And I said, that's really good. I go, but Tom and I think the success in our relationship is like what I don't say and what he does not say. Like there's two coins to that of like, yeah, two sides of the coin of like, you should say all this stuff.
Yep.
And then it's when not just say anything.
Because you have to pick your battles. Like,
Yeah.
there are things every day.
Every day, every day,
happen.
all day.
And I'm sure it's the same, right? I'm sure he's like, are you serious? Because
It's me, yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I'm sure my hair, fucking Lord only knows.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to fight about it.
No.
Because every time I want to do it, I always think, what's it worth? Is it worth it? Because then when I really am upset about something, when there's actually a problem, I need to say like, hey, you did this thing and it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, because I don't say shit about shit until it's important. It's not really worth fighting about the fork in the sink. So you're going to need to talk about it. You're going to need to say like, I'm doing the best I can. And you're going to, we have to find some reasonable way to communicate about this. And maybe it's couples counseling too, just to find language. And also for both of you to be like, there's shit we don't say so that we can stay together.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. And
You can't fight about everything.
I think it's too late once you're at the wife status, but also marrying another slob was really helpful for me.
Oh, you guys are both, see, Sean and I are both clean freaks.
Oh, see, that's why you don't fight about it. Yeah, because Tom and I are thankfully similar in that we both have blinders to slobbery. Like, I don't fucking I don't care if there's clothes on the floor. We're not filthy. We're slobs. Meaning,
Yeah, that's different. It's not dirty.
No,
it's
no,
messy.
no. It's messy, and I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But then again, we outsource. We have a housekeeper that comes and deals with it.
Yeah.
So neither of us have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to yell at him. Also, you know what I started doing too? If like that housekeeper ain't around, guess what? We're using paper plates. Guess what? Mom's white trash.
Yeah.
And we're going to use plastic forks. Fuck you. I'm not doing dishes.
Yeah.
Well, so
I
then I
just-
don't be resentful.
Totally. Well, when quarantine first hit, we didn't have our cleaning lady come.
Of course.
And so we had to divvy it up, and then I found myself doing more. And so I told him, I had a conversation. I was like, listen, you're saying you don't want a cleaning lady to come in because of quarantine. And I'm telling you that if you don't help out and do your 50%, the cleaning lady's coming or no one's cleaning because I'm not doing shit.
And what happened?
He cleaned the house for like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
But I didn't say anything until it was important.
Until it was important.
I didn't like nitpick.
Yeah.
I just said, this is the problem. You have
And
to
then it
communicate. And then he was like, you're right.
Hilarious.
So
I wonder how much the male brain thinks they contribute versus what the reality is.
he's actually, Sean's pretty good. He'll be like,
Yeah.
I was taking advantage. I'm sorry. I realized that. Like, he's nice and easy.
Yeah, because if you were to ask Tom,
Oh,
like, he thinks it's 50-50 with like childcare.
He like
and,
picks up one sock. He's like, done.
Yeah. I changed that diaper 5 weeks ago. Like, okay. Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Whoa, don't put yourself out, bro.
Yeah, must have broke a sweat with that one.
Ooh. Safe driving isn't limited to new tires. Your family should feel safe behind the wheel driving on tires with 35,000 miles of wear, just as they do on new tires. Discover the new Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires designed to keep families safer for longer than leading competitors. The Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires break up to 56 feet shorter than leading competitors on wet roads and 16 feet shorter on dry roads, even when worn. Wow, think about that, especially with the weather coming up now. Now is the time to try out the Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires. They provide up to 1 year of additional tread life compared to 4 leading competitive tires. And when you buy them now, you can enjoy a warranty that gives you 60,000 miles of peace of mind. New Michelin CrossClimate 2 tires. Buy them now, thank them later. And that's right. Michelin has been around for so long. I have these on my car. I do not trust any other brand as much as I do Michelin. Discover more at MichelinMan.com. Oh, here. I don't want to do this. Oh, this is an interesting question. I like this. Okay, hi, Christina and Katie. I'm a therapist and I also work with families. Christina, it seems like you and Tom come from very different family systems and have a great marriage. Katie and Christina, I was wondering what you think. Do you think growing up in similar family systems can help in a marriage/relationship? Or do you think growing up in very different family systems can help in a marriage relationship? And what do you see more? Audrey, really interesting.
It is interesting. I think
What
it
do you
depends
think?
on the people, obviously, but
Yeah.
similar family systems will find similar family systems.
Ooh.
Because it's that family dance. I always I love that term, but it's something we learn in school, like a family dance. Like I always assume it's like the polka because it's more fun, or like square dancing.
Yeah, I like square dancing.
Me too. Yeah. With your corner gal or whatever. I had to take square dancing in school, by the way.
So did we on rainy days in LA. Do-si-do and
In Washington, same.
I like it.
It was fun.
I want to
really
square
loved
dance
it.
now.
I know we should. I don't know if I could do it, but I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Can we find square dancing in LA?
YouTube. I know.
That shit was fun
That
when
was
you were
fun.
a kid.
Super fun.
Yeah, do-si-doing and around the world or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
And
Oh, so fun.
What a stupid thing
It's so
square
stupid.
dancing is. Yeah.
But so family dance is because you know that dance so well.
Oh, it's
you're like, oh, I
familiar.
recognize that music. I can do that dance.
It's toxic as
You're
shit.
like,
and
hey,
it feels
Macarena.
bad. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And so we go over to that. And so we find those people we're the most comfortable. We can do that dance together. And that's why people who are in abusive relationships in childhood become in abusive, so it's like cycles repeat themselves, which is why if we come from an unhealthy family system and family dance, then we have to go to therapy to learn a new song. And then we can appreciate those other songs. And we're like, hey, like for instance, when my therapist was like, this is back right before I met Sean. She was like, you've been in like a string of like shitty relationships. And I was like, yes, tell me something I don't know. And she was like, maybe you should be a little uncomfortable in your next relationship.
Yes.
Maybe they should be a little inaccessible for you. And I was like, I don't like that. And
Yeah.
she's like, you're not gonna like it, but I'm challenging you. And so with Sean, I was super uncomfortable. He like wouldn't call all the time at first, and like it was this slow burn of a relationship,
Like a normal.
like normal, like not like enmeshed or like codependent.
Oh, you're mine now.
Yeah, and we're one.
Yeah.
Wow. And so it's been the best relationship.
Yes.
He does his shit, I do my shit. We come together to have a good, it's like it all works out, and it's different than what I had done in
the dance that you, because the dance that you are comfortable is not even the right word. The dance that you're familiar with is not necessarily comfortable, but it is familiar. So yes, and I think what your therapist challenging you with being uncomfortable is the essence to getting better.
Yeah.
And like people ask me that all the time with Tom and me. Like, is that frustrating for you that he's like from this more functional family than yours? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So here's the deal. When I met Tom, I knew he was more put together than I was. I knew it. And I knew his family was more together than where I was. But I also knew that I wanted that eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with the guy it's not familiar to me.
No.
It feels hard.
Yes.
It feels like I'm going to have to rise to this occasion.
Which is good. Shouldn't we be rising, right? Growing.
Yeah. and that I wanted to be eventually where he was at and his family was at. And I knew it. And I was like, you can do it. You can do it. Now, the downside to that is that it can be times very lonely. It can be daunting. It can be scary. It can be challenging. You can feel like a freak show and a total weirdo because he does not understand my history. Like he does because I tell him, but he can't.
He can't empathize. He can sympathize. He doesn't feel. He doesn't know.
And truly will never really, I don't think, grasp the magnitude of the fucked uppery that some people that we grow, that you deal with, that I dealt with rather.
Yeah.
So there's it's lonely at times for me, but then I have people who have been through similar shit that I've been that I can talk to.
That's the thing. You have your support system, right?
Yes.
To understand.
Yes.
Because sometimes, and also I think it might be men and women too in some ways, is like sometimes I want Sean to like consider something from a deeper level, and it might be the therapist in me also, but I'm also just an overthinker, classic overthinker.
Same.
So I'm like, I'll mention something. He's like, I never thought about it that way. And I'm like, well, now I can't fucking talk to you about this because I had like, that was just the start. I have like this whole, so then I call my friends and I'm like, I've been like really having a tough time with, and they're like, oh my God, me too. You have those people.
But I think what you're talking about,
into it.
I think what you're talking about, let's be real, it's a limitation of men.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but
I know. That's why we have girlfriends.
That's what I'm saying. And I think
so get drunk and cry together.
100%.
Oh, this was so,
100%. And the problem
I feel this so intensely.
And you know what makes me want to vomit is when people are like, you and Tom are best friends. I'm like, we're not best friends.
It's different.
He's my spouse. The best friend is the person you talk shit about your spouse.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay.
100%.
Best friend is where you mind, especially with women. Look, maybe it's, and I know there's no such thing as gender anymore, but I'm just telling you, females, listen to us right now.
Yeah.
You and I have hung out a handful of times. I feel like we're fucking jamming on the one. You and I are mind melding.
Yeah.
It's effortless.
It is.
Because we communicate on a wavelength. I don't know if I can do that with a lot of guys. And
no, it's different.
Your husband is not your fucking best friend.
And Sean will make a joke when I'm like, this was serious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not even, he'll like, try to like make a snide comment or something. He's like, I'm like, no, this was like a real conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ask that from you that often.
I'm not saying that all men can't go deep on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that everyone has their limitations and like their capacity to understand certain shit. You have to have been through certain things to understand certain things.
And women, like, we know through research that women use like, was it 60 to 90,000 words a day, and men use like
12.
10. You were being generous.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's like men use like 10,000, and we, so we use a lot more.
It's different.
We process differently.
But here's the deal. Like, I don't want you guys to think that I hate men, because I value how they think too. And I fucking love that they built civilizations and like
conquered lands.
Dude, it's rad.
Yeah.
Like their way of being is just different than ours.
But we need both, right? It's the yin and the yang. We can't be in our feelings all day long.
No.
Like, I'd never get any shit done.
No.
I got to be like, I got to compartmentalize. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, and Sean's great at that. Like, if something happens, he's like, okay, well, we can't deal with this now. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
And he like goes on and like does a bunch of stuff. And then
but I think what we're saying is that everybody is the masculine and the feminine. And like, you can't expect your spouse to be the feminine all the time.
No.
Or, it's not gonna.
That's not, no. I mean, we still, or personally, I still want like a man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because is there anything less attractive than a weenie? Like,
No.
Like, I hate those guys.
I can't.
They don't look like they've ever like played sports or something.
No, like they shave their chest hair or something.
That's the worst.
So bad.
Shaving,
unless you're a
grows
swimmer.
back.
Yeah, just don't. But yeah, I think families, we're more familiar with that dance, just to answer that question.
Familiar, but not necessarily.
Yeah, not and either relationship can work. It's all about communication and wanting it to work. Like, it sounds like you knew that's what you wanted, so you like pushed yourself to overcome.
Yeah. And look, man, I still do. I still fuck up. I'm still learning how to be a human.
Oh,
and, I just like, I'm really hell bent on breaking the cycle of bullshit in my family, and I'm not gonna let my children suffer the way I did. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll take it. I'll do it. I'm gonna do the work. It's gonna suck. Like,
It's hard.
yeah, it's not like my life's been great because of my fucking mental problems, but like,
Yeah.
what's the alternative?
Yeah. Same.
What's the alternative?
Exactly. It's like what we already know that sucks.
And it sucked being in depression all the time or anxious all the time.
Yeah.
Or why is this happening to me? Well, dipshit, get in therapy and
Figure it out. Yeah. No,
Okay,
it's true.
speaking of, this is a perfect segue.
Okay.
I'm writing in because my husband cannot seem to navigate common sense.
Wow, just come out the gate with it.
Boom. This bitch hates him. How do I bury a body without it being found? This is the best. Whether it be not putting the leash on the dog before he opens the door to not properly budgeting finances. Ooh. He's an amazing guy with a heart of gold, but dumber than a box of rocks. Oh, Jesus. How do I help him learn to think? Love you and appreciate Samantha.
I'm sorry, I need a minute to process that question.
Are these different from the ones you get on Ask Katie Anything?
I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
Mine have a little more like, upfront mental illness questions.
Sure.
But also mixed in some of
Sure.
this. Yeah. I think, you have to accept them for who they are.
No.
I'd like to tell you communication would make, you should communicate about things like, hey, honey, next time, but you can't nitpick all day long.
It's a waste of time.
It's about the fork in the sink. You can't just pick every fight. You'd pick this person. Figure it out.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, you gotta
Radical
be
acceptance, man.
radical acceptance. And the picker, man, I can't even tell you who's I talking about this to, about picking the partner.
Ooh,
You even realize how important, Dr. Jessica Hockman, we were talking about this, how important it is to pick the right marriage partner.
100. That's why I get so frustrated. People get married at like 16 or 18. I'm like, who the fuck even knows who they are? Like, it's the biggest decision of your life.
The biggest.
And you should really be cautious and think about it. Like Sean and I dated for 5 years, which looking back, I'm like, we should have gotten married sooner.
That's what I say about Tommy and me. Yeah.
But I didn't know if I wanted to get married ever. I was like,
I was the same way.
And then when I met Sean, I was like, maybe. And then I was like, yes. But, I think that rushing into that is a bad decision.
Well, here's what I can tell you. Because I think it's okay. So what is important? Let's talk about it. What are the ingredients? So first of all, for this woman, sorry, you got a dopey spouse.
Yeah.
Okay. So all you can do is outsource as much as you can.
Yeah.
Don't fight about it. Accept him for where he is and appreciate the good parts. What is he great at?
Yeah.
Let him flourish.
Focus on the good things.
Focus on the positive.
And support those positive things.
100%. Is he a
Positive
good
reinforcement.
cook? Yes. Oh, we do that a lot in my house. Yes.
Yep.
They get mouth kisses on their peenie for doing all kinds of good stuff.
One of my favorite jokes
Yeah.
of yours is, I forget, it was like, you said something like, taking trash out makes me want to suck things.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you want to suck stuff.
I don't know what it is, but
So arousing. Yeah. You get mouth favors if you do stuff.
if you do stuff, you got to,
Yeah. So that's it. But if he's a great cook, let him cook the meals.
Yes.
And praise him.
Praise him and tell him how good he is at that. And then I think the way to frame the like bag of rocks things is more like endearing qualities.
He's absent-minded.
Yep.
That's where Americans are great at framing dark shit.
You got to reframe
He's
it.
absent-minded. No, he's a dipshit. The guy's a
know.
dope. But
Yeah,
he's
but-
a
Hey,
nutty
he's got his strengths.
professor.
Maybe he's really good in the bedroom.
Maybe he's got a huge dog.
Enjoy that. Nobody knows. Whatever. Hey, you picked him for a reason. Let's focus on those reasons.
So let's talk about
Oh yeah, the what qualities?
let's talk about then what is marriage material. Let's be real with people, because I really wish somebody had sat down with me as a younger woman and been like, look, the dick is important, obviously, sexual chemistry.
Yes.
Let's start there. It is important.
It is really important.
Because sex is the glue of the marriage. And if you're
It
not
is.
banging, you just got a miserable roommate on your hands.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Because it's a barometer for everything that's going on in your relationship is your sex life, right? And last time I was on here, I talked about trying to have sex like 2, maybe 3 times a week. And we got a lot of pushback. But I
but you have no kids.
Yes, I have
It's
no
fine.
kids. But one of my friends who's a sex therapist was telling me that it's more about sexual touch, meaning like loving touch.
Love it.
So every day you should be doing some sexual touch, even if it's just kissing, rubbing their back. I love you, touch their arm, you know, pat on the butt, whatever your relationship is like.
And, you know, truth be told, men are so easy.
They are.
It's
Words
like
of
the
affirmation
best.
and touch.
Yeah, that's just what they live for is your approval and your physical approval and your emotional approval. You know, I just, wives, don't fucking complain about the guys, okay? They're fucking easy.
Oh, yeah. Give them a kiss.
Feed them.
Be like, you look nice today. Or the like float off. It's easy.
Yeah, you look great. You look cute. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're
Hit
my
'em on the
baby
butt.
daddy. Pat their ass and grab their nuts and that's it. Call it a
It's
day.
easy. Call it a day. You're done. Check that off your list.
So sexual touches, loving touches.
Yeah.
Is this person a cold fish?
Yeah.
Forget it. Don't marry
If there's
the
no
guy.
chemistry in the bedroom or you haven't had sex with them, I'm sorry. I know religious people are like,
Don't care.
you know,
Don't
doing whatever the fuck they do.
Also,
it's like, you
the
gotta have
drive,
sex.
does it match? Are one of you through the roof? One of you is asexual? It's not going to work. You're not going to get married.
Yeah, it won't
Okay.
work.
Number 2, here's what I think is huge. Worldview. Worldview.
Yep.
How do you see the world? Are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat? Or is everybody crazy? Is everything great? Are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? That stuff. Are you risk averse? Is one of you a risk taker? And one of you is like, I can't do that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Then
like-
you're, that nervous Nelly. Then the two of you are partner. You're going to go up together. You want to be creating empires together,
Yeah.
right? I would say I actually think shared religion or shared background is phenomenally helpful. Is it the only way? No. It's a lot easier when the two of you say, guess what? Christmas, there's a Christmas tree in the house.
It is easier.
And we're baptizing our kids, or Hanukkah rolls around and we light the fucking menorah or whatever.
or even circumcision of children. Like I've had
Yeah.
friends who they disagree and they had a boy and I'm like, good luck with that.
Good luck. Discuss this before you get engaged.
Yes.
Okay, what else? What do you think? Go ahead.
I think family dynamics, like we're talking kind of
Yeah.
like that's important to know and to, I don't know, figure it out, I guess.
And if you're not about it, look, just know that your partner, if they're from a fucked up background, you're going to have to deal, like Tom's had to deal with my shit of trying
but
to keep up.
We always deal with each other's shit.
Yeah.
Regardless of like perfect. I mean, no one has perfect, you know, families or
Nobody.
anything. We all have shit. I think the way that you communicate is important.
Yeah.
And
What does that mean though? Yelling?
it's like, yeah, like, because families have, same with the dance of stuff. In those dances, like some families just shout. And it doesn't mean they're fighting.
right.
And like two of our friends, and this is just one example, they're both Italian Americans and they just shout a lot.
Yeah.
But they're like happy as clams.
Yeah.
And then
They're
we
like,
have-
yeah, the pizza.
They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Sean and I are like wasps. So we're like,
yeah.
we don't like conflict.
Yeah.
It makes us uncomfortable. And we go over for dinner sometimes and he'd be like, are they going to get divorced? And I was like, no, they're super happy, man.
Pass the ketchup. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true because my culture is very harsh. This is fucking retarded. This is stupid. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't faze me, that kind of talk. But I think Tom was like, whoa.
And he's like, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. What else
So that
you
helps.
got?
Really, it's
Oh.
how well you feel heard by your partner.
That's a big one.
Because I just did a video, I don't know if it's gone live yet, but about love languages.
Ooh, I love that
I know.
stuff. That's stuff
It's-
exciting.
It's so exciting. But it's essentially there's 5 ways we communicate love and receive love. And it's like physical touch, words of affirmation, gift giving, shared activities, or quality time, I think is actually what they call it. And then acts of service. And so you figuring that out. And if you feel like you receive love from them and they receive love from you, there's like a balance. That's good.
It's amazing.
And just, I mean, the basic things, trust
Yeah.
is huge.
Oh, trust is huge. If they're cheating
Yeah.
on you in year one, fucking
Yeah, right?
forget it.
Yeah.
I would say money.
Money. Sex and money are the
Money.
2 main divorce reasons.
And I'm not saying you need to have any. I'm just saying you guys need to open dialogue. How much
Yeah.
debt do you have? How much debt do you have before you
And
get
if you
married?
can't talk about it, that's a problem.
Forget it.
You have to talk about it. Because if you're going to get together, even if you don't get married, if you're just sharing bills, you know, once, and it sounds so unsexy, and it is, but it's important because Sean and I are both super savers. We're like,
That's why you get to get along.
we both have been poor.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck, man, that's scary.
It sucks.
It sucks. And you don't forget.
No.
Like we joke about the fear of poor in you, like
All the time.
I don't forget. You know, like when you like treat yourself or something, you're like,
Oh, girl, I know. I know.
Like, you know, you buy a car or something, you're like, fuck,
I know.
I have to get rid of my hoopty.
I know.
So you need to have the same views on spending.
And spending, I would say that. But here's what's interesting is that I learned about money through Tom, because he had a higher socioeconomic level growing up than I did. And the way rich people think about money is not the way you and I grew up thinking about money.
Interesting. Sean and I both grew up poor.
Yeah, I grew up middle class,
Well, we
lower
were
middle class.
Yeah, Sean was like poor. We
Poor,
were like,
poor, poor.
Yeah, but we were like middle class.
But I grew up with a communist mentality. So my parents brought that poor country mentality to America. So even when we did have stuff, we were always on the verge of destruction. But but it took me a while to learn how rich white guys think.
Yeah, how do they think?
I'll tell you.
Isn't that book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Read that.
I haven't read that, but people always
That guy went
recommend.
bankrupt, by the way.
Of course he did.
He did go bankrupt, but yeah, that's actually not a bad book. And I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I would read Napoleon Hill over this guy. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I think that guy it's an old timey book, but this is really the truth of it. Read that, and that is how old white rich guys think.
Okay.
They're not afraid of money. They are not afraid of money, meaning they're not afraid to take risks to make it.
Oh, see, that scares me.
And it
it's a fear of
does.
poor.
And the opposite in poor people, and why they stay poor, is that I got to hold on to it because I'm never going to make any more. It's never going to come around again. I'm going to squeeze it.
Yeah. And you want to see it.
And you
I want to have it so I can spend it.
But that's the antithesis of how you get rich. So read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Really good. Okay, trust, money, sex, religion. I would
That's
say
really
shared cultural. Being Catholic for Tom and I, we're not practicing or anything, but just having that shared background.
Yeah, the foundation. Kind
And his mother is an immigrant, and so I like
and your
that.
parents are-
and my
yeah.
parents, so I was like, okay, he's not such a cracker. So like, I can bring him home, and he's going to see and hear weird shit, and he's not going to be
he's like,
fucking American,
Yeah.
without a passport, kind of honky.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I'm
And
trying to
also
think if there's
just
anything else.
kindness, morality. I look at moral. Is this person moral? This
Mm-hmm.
guy moral? He doesn't have to be rich now, but does he have a mindset of
Yeah,
like,
of
I know
growth
what I'm
and-
gonna be
yeah.
when I grow up? And and women so much, especially on these dating shows. You ever see these dating shows where they're like, ew, he wears a button down.
Oh, you can change that so easy. Fuck, man. Just buy. I swear Sean
Makes
doesn't
me
wear
crazy.
anything now that I haven't purchased for him.
Of course,
He doesn't like to shop.
that's the job
I'm
of
like,
the woman.
Uh-huh. And as long as you tell him he looks good in it.
Yes,
And you buy things that fit him. Easy.
yes.
It's fucking easy. That shit does not matter. Sean wore
cosmetic.
board shorts down to his calves and oversized t-shirts when I met him.
Oh,
You think he owns any of those anymore?
and you got your WAP on for that.
I did. But the final thing I want to mention, because it was the
Yes.
most important for me.
Yes.
Shared activities.
Oh,
things you
that's
like to do.
everything. Why did I say that, Katie Morton? That's why you're here.
Because you have to want to do things together, and you have to like I know this isn't for everybody, but you have to like to travel the same way, and you have to like to, we love to snowboard and mountain bike, and then we also love to lay
100%.
by a pool and get massages and do fucking nothing.
100%.
And there's a balance, and we both enjoy that. So
Dude, speed of life. That's what I say, speed of life. That's what I mean. Are you an early riser?
no, we're both not.
He better
and that's
be.
perfect. So
Yeah. Do you guys stay
Yeah.
up till 4 a.m? I hope so. I hope you both do.
we're like midnight one.
Right. But I'm saying
Yeah.
like as
You
long as
have to be the
both
same.
of you are on that same
Yeah.
rhythm of life.
Yeah.
When you go on vacation, is one of you doing the itinerary, or is the other one like, I don't know, let's just walk through the streets of Paris?
Because that's how we are. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And
Right.
you have to be the same,
But
or
you-
it'll be.
Forget it.
Yeah.
And I always say the worldview thing. If you're in a cafe with somebody, with your potential spouse, and one of you leans over and goes, "Oh my God, do you see that?"
And the other one better say, "Fuck yeah, I was just gonna say something to you. Those are crazy."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if that doesn't happen,
It's not good.
don't get married.
No.
'Cause,
Or if there's judgment, like,
oh yeah. Because 90% of marriages, did you see that fucking thing happen?
yeah.
You know what I
think-
mean?
Do you see her thong hanging out of her pants? Oh my God. Yeah.
That's really what it is. And
Yep.
like Tom and I, our favorite activity is doing nothing.
Oh, us
we
too.
chill.
Yeah.
And we chill hard, and we chill in the same way. And I think that's like so fucking important.
It is,
Because
yeah.
if he's like, my idea of chilling is going on a 29-mile bike ride on a
Oh.
Sunday, I'd be like, bro, we're not, this is
not compatible.
going.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because Sean and
Hate
I,
that.
we're not morning people, but we don't sleep until like 1 or 2 or whatever in the afternoon. But we're like to bed by midnight, up by 9.
But that's a
roughly.
big problem if one of you is up till 4
Yes.
and the other one is in bed by 8. It's like,
well, then you're like passing ships in the night. It's weird. And anyway, I've always talked to Sean when we wake up on a Saturday and we like don't get out of bed for a while because we don't have dogs or kids. So like, why would we? And I'm always
tell
like,
me what that's
I'll
like.
roll over and I'll be like, if you had to be up early and you couldn't just lay in bed, this would never have worked.
of course.
Because we're the same.
Yeah, you have to be.
You have to find your and then we have friends who get up at like 7 to go for a hike, but they're both happy doing
They
it.
love it.
And I'm
I
like,
know.
"Bleh." But
I know.
they're happy.
I have my Pilates instructor. I'll be like, what did you and your husband do this weekend? Well, we woke up at 5 a.m.
And you're
then
like,
we
count me out.
Oh my God, we hiked 10 miles and then we biked 10, 20 miles and then we swam. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. It sounds like a nightmare.
I would just die.
I know.
I'd be dating that person for like a week and I'd be like, I'm just gonna bow out of this.
They've been together a decade.
Yeah.
Happy as can
clams.
be. No children. And they're happy as can
Yeah.
be. All
See?
right.
So
We gotta go. So, do you have anything else to add? So, guys, listen to her podcast. Download her podcast on iTunes. Is that where you want people to listen to you?
iTunes, yeah.
Guys, do you know how easy it is? If you're watching me on YouTube and you're not listening to this as a podcast, did you know that you can listen to this?
Yeah, download
and
it.
Katie's podcast. You go, there's a podcast app on your phone and you just look us up. Ask Katie anything, and opinions about
Opinions that don't matter.
opinions that don't matter is with you and Sean, your husband, so you can hear the two of them.
Yeah, you can see them too. We're on YouTube also, videos just like this, but yeah.
Perfect. And you can
Whichever
submit
way.
a question to Katie by going to the section of the comments section.
The community tab of the
Community
YouTube
tab. Okay.
channel.
Thank you so much for being here. I just adore
Yeah.
you, and I'm so glad that I feel like this choir is almost over.
I know, me too. I'm like, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I think there is. But it was so good to see you.
It was so good to see you, and I love you so much, and come back soon. I'm going to do your podcast soon.
Yes.
All right. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for your questions, and until next time, stay cool, moms.
Where my mom's at? Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting bongs at? Raising kids, cleaning shits, need a long nap. Where my mom's at?
Where My Mom's At podcast with Christina P.